Hey, what's going on, everybody? Boilon here and back for yet again another Marvel Strike Force event video. I feel that this week we've been spitting them out pretty quickly, but that's because we have 4-day events rather than 7-day events, at least for right now. And so today we're going to be talking about the Vengeful Spirits event. That's the one that's going to be going live on Friday at 2 p.m. I was just making sure I got my dates right. When I talked about Werewolf Warzone, I did actually get... It's a good thing I released it when I did, because, yeah, I thought it was a day later, actually. But anyways, that doesn't matter. This one is going live Friday, 2 p.m., so make sure... And we're putting this out now, because obviously tomorrow is going to be the blog, so we usually do this a day in advance. But, yet again, we have another there is a coring portion to this, and you're indirectly coring as well, I guess, or maybe directly coring because of the campaign energy that you have to spend. But once again, we don't know the currency exchange value for that. However, I did get it right for the ISO 8 energy when it was 2-to-1. We'll talk about that and sort of how it makes a difference in terms of what kind of points you're going to get and how many new Avengers shards that you're going to be able to pick up free to play, because that's kind of a lot of what's in this milestone. So if you're ready to go, let's boil this down. Now, just to start things off, so this is the part of the blog related to Vengeful Spirits. There is a web milestone. We'll talk about that a little bit as well. So tap into the power of the spectral plane to power up your new Avengers by earning Vindicator Orb fragments from the campaign nodes. So this is regular campaign nodes and battling in raids. You'll earn more points using Loki Teen, Beta Ray Bill, and or Sylvie, especially if they're equipped with Gear Tier 16+. You get points for 16, 17, and 18. And there's a little bit in the description where I'm a little bit confused as to... We'll see. You know, because the way that they lay this out is a little bit different than how they've done it in the past. So keep that in mind and rack up points to earn the trophy necklace along with the the currency of the month long, and Tigra and Ronin Shards. So I'm going to expand the chart a little bit here. And you can see on the right-hand side here, you get Tigra, 5 Tigra Ronin, 5 Tigra Ronin, 5 and 10, 10 and 10. So I'm going to say right now that unless you have Gear Tier 18 Bifrost, you're probably not getting these last 5 milestones. And this might be a topic of conversation for a separate video, but instead of the last 3 milestones being whalestones, we're actually seeing this now about the last 5 or 6. The current event that we have ongoing right now, which again, it's not for this, but for Dark Defenders, I don't think that we're going to be getting the Silver Centurion costume, which is down here. Oh, sorry, no, it is that one. Milestone 16 here on Dark Defenders. I don't think that this is going to be largely free-to-play accessible. And so more and more we're seeing, because there's usually 20 milestones, so we're seeing 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. We're seeing 5 at least that are kind of not really free-to-play accessible in a good way. And I think we're going to see the same for this as well. So 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. Most people aren't even going to get 15, but you would need some highly geared Bifrost for this. And I want to, maybe this is hard to see down here, but the points that you get for the Bifrost characters at higher gear tier, it says, and I'll read this out to you if you can't see it, and I need to fix my frame when I do event videos for this part, because the way the photo is lined up, but play 1 raid battle with Loki Teen, Beta Ray Bill, and Sylvia Gear Tier 16+, 2250 points at a limit of 6750. So that suggests that you're getting 2250 per character. However, if it actually goes into the game, as it said here on the chart, what can happen is if you have one of them at Gear Tier 16, you can play them 3 times, and then you would get all the points. So it almost suggests that you only need one of them at Gear Tier 18, and you would collect all of the points for everything. So whether or not that's the case, I don't know, but there's a lot of points up here for grabs, and if that's how it ends up being in the game, then things are a lot different, right? You would only need one character at Gear 18, and then you could swoop up all these points. And so that would be a little bit better. But in previous events, they kind of separated it, where they said, like, okay, this is the points and the limits you get for Teen Loki, Beta Ray Bill, and Sylvie, with like 9 lines. And so while they simplified it here, I'm kind of skeptical as whether or not that's actually going to be in-game. We'll have to wait and see. Let's talk about this, though. So the Vengeful Spirits is a 4-day event. It requires campaign energy, raids with Bifrost, and to some extent power cores. You know, it's at it's the web milestone. We'll talk about that. So 200,000 is the main, is to complete. You're not going to complete it, so it doesn't really matter. But you do want to get to about 70,100 points. That is the milestone points to get all the event stuff, including the extra cat's head. There's 15,000 currency right after the trophy necklace. So I would say that that's the goal to get, not the 60,000 for the event item. The free claims, I don't know. The current one for Dark Defenders, they did fix it eventually, and it was 750 over 3 days, so 2250 total. I think they might just give us, if assuming it's correct, right, and they launch it as it's supposed to be, could be 500 daily, but I'm not going to add anything into the table just now. Normally, the free claim is not enough to make a significant difference, but it does help a little bit. The daily web claim, or sorry, daily web milestone this is interesting as well, because you need to spend power cores. Up to 600 power cores per day over 4 days. Now, if you spend 600 power cores, you get 4,000 orb fragments, or 2 orbs. If you spend 300 cores, you get 2,000 fragments. So for the purposes of this video, we're going to be taking a look at 300 power cores daily, and that's going to be power cores that you're going to want to spend directly into the campaign event. That way, you're doubling for both the web milestone and your in-game spending for the campaign energy. If you want to go a bit further, we can take a look at how that affects your progress. And what I don't, well, I mean, so if you wanted to pull a character orb, for example, Iron Man's in the orb right now, right? And I think he should still be for the event. And if you want to pull one of these each day for 4 days, you know, then that will max that out. But of course, you're going to run over because then you're spending on your campaign energy as well. And I guess that's the part that I don't like, is it's kind of limited. It's limited to 600 per day for once, and you can't really push further ahead in the milestone by wanting to spend more cores. It's not spending power cores directly into the main milestone, so that's the interesting part here. So for the purposes of this, we're going to be talking about 2,000 fragments per day, rather than the 4,000 but you can go up to 600 cores if you want. So again, this is with 300 cores spent. So you get 700 points per raid battle, and it's limit at 28,000. So you know, this is simple math. You just use 28,000 divided by 700. That's 40 raid battles. That's 10 per day. That's very easy. Honestly, you could probably do that on one raid, but you have your main raid and you have your Greek raids, so that's 5 each between the two of them. Hopefully you can pull that off. It's not that important. Now, you do want to use just Loki, Beta Ray Bill, and Sylvie in its base form, but we have Beta running as well, Greek Beta Raid running, and that should be more than easy enough in the Mystic section to do that. You just need to use them 3 times, and you get 3,600 points. So we're going to be including both the 28 and the 3,600. But like what I was saying about their gear tier, currently, the way that it's worded is that you would only need 1 character at gear 18 and you could swoop up all of this, which is a lot of points. My Sylvie's at gear tier 17. I'm actually thinking of 18 for Dark Dimension 6, but she's not there yet, so that's a little bit unfortunate. I don't have anyone at G18 other than Vol for Bifrost, who's not listed in this event. So I'm probably only going to be able to pick up these 2 points if it works the way that I just said. If not, then we might see it in-game as separated between all the 3 characters, and you only get like basically this amount per character. And then it eventually adds up to this, I guess, over the 3 characters. It depends. So for the purposes of this, we're not adding this in. Just keep that in mind that you might be able to get an extra milestone or 2 if you have some highly geared Bifrost characters. Now, your campaign energy per day, I've showed this before in other videos. You get about roughly 1,108 per day. That includes all of this stuff here above. That means that the total orb fragments that we're going to get... Nope, this needs to get changed. Sorry. If we assume that it's a 2-to-1 energy ratio, this may not be the case. And we're going to take a look at what it looks like at 2-to-1 and what it looks at like a little bit higher and see what's likely to happen. Then over the 4 days, if it's 2-to-1, we'll get about 8,800 fragments per day or 4 orbs. Now, if you add this with this, and the reason why I think it's not 2-to-1 is because the value of the campaign energy, 8,800 compared to like what you get out of the raids, seems completely bonkers, right? So I think in this instance, it's got to be a little bit higher. But let's just see for shits and giggles. So if you add all of those together, the reasonable points obtained, not including G16 plus Bifrost, is 48,000 points. Now, where does that get you on the milestone? And why do I think that that's not going to happen? Because you don't even get the trophy necklace. Okay, we can zoom in even a couple more times. So the trophy necklace is over here at 60,000. and then 70,000 for all the event currencies. So I just don't think that it's going to be that bad. So for once, I don't think it's going to be 2-to-1. Now we could upgrade this to 4-to-1 and see what happens. This takes us to about 57,000 points without Bifrost. We don't get the trophy necklace, and so for that reason, I don't think it's 4-to-1 either. And so let's go all the way to 8. That gets us to 75,000 with the Bifrost characters not having G16. And 300 cores daily spent. And that does cover both the trophy necklace and the additional 15,000 Cat's Head's amulet. Now, what happens if we go 6? Let's go down a little bit. That gives you 66,000. That does give you the trophy necklace and the Cat's Head. That gives you the trophy necklace, but not the Cat's Head amulets, the extra ones over here. So is it 6-to-1 or is it 8-to-1? That's my current kind of guess right now here, because I think anything less than that is far too low points-wise for the event item. And then if it is lower than 6, it would actually expect you to have Gear Tier 16 plus Bifrost to be able to get that. And I think that is absolutely crazy. Now, of course, Scopely has done some pretty insane stuff, but there'd be a pretty big backlash if you could not get the event item and you were forced to have G16 or higher Bifrost, and of the new characters, and I think that would be a bit of a low thing. So for the purposes of this, we're gonna see. I don't normally go all the way to the top. I think it might be 8 this time around, and so I'm gonna change this around. It's an 8-to-1 ratio. It could be 6. As long as it's 6 or higher, that's fine. You'll still be able to get to most of your goals. So it kind of puts in line with the amount of points that you'll be getting with raids. Like, even just these two here, that's 31.6 thousand points. This is 35,000 points if you're doing 200 cores daily. In fact, we're going to be doing 300 cores daily anyway, so I probably should have just added that in. I can add an extra 120 energy. So that's 300 cores daily. We should do that. So 5 core refreshes at 300 cores daily. And that'll give you about 79,000 points thereabouts, without the free claim. Where does that get you? It actually almost gets you to this 80,000 milestone mark, which is great, which is those additional 10 Ronin shards. And that means 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 are in fact whalestones, quote, 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 whalestones, depending on if you have the extra points that you could get from G16, 17, and 18. Now, I've added this in. So this one here, this 85,006, this is what you would get if you have G16 Bifrost or perhaps one character at G16. Depends on how it goes. And that's 85.6. That's not going to get you the next milestone. So you would actually need, and I'm going to add the other one, the G17 one, you would need that to get almost 100k, which would get you milestone 15. Which would get you an Elite 6 orb and some augmented ballistic weave, but no additional shards there. So what does all of this mean? And let's just get rid of this. It means that you're not going to get a ton of shards. Expectations for your new Avenger shards probably is these 5 here, and maybe the 5 Tigra, and maybe the 10 Ronin shards here, depending on how much you're coring and what the conversion ratio is. So I guess you're looking at, what is that, 15 Tigra and 10 Ronin, maybe 20 Ronin if you're lucky. So 15 Tigra, 10/20 Ronin. That's kind of the expectation here for this event. They're sprinkling it. They're peppering the shards. So they're not giving you a ton though. So it's not great. I hope the energy to conversion ratio, currency conversion ratio is good, and we'll see how this actually functions when it shows up in game and also when the event goes live. As far as the Vindicator orbs, I don't know what's going to be in there. Maybe there's some decent characters in there, I hope, because that'll make it a little bit better. Do I want to spend 600 cores a day on this event? I don't think so, because it's not going to really make a significant difference beyond that to get those additional milestones. I would stick to the 300 cores daily maximum, and that way you can pick up the 1 orb per day. That's my assessment of this event. Again, final notes just to run, and we already have this, so don't worry about that. As always, we don't know what the currency to energy conversion ratio is, but we can assume that they don't want us to go very far on the milestone. They've been cutting this back more and more each event. So the top 5 or 6 milestones in this case are not free-to-play accessible. At 2-to-1, we are not able to get the event item, so this seems implausible. Like, I don't think that's going to be the case. At 4-to-1, we're still not getting the event item, but you could if you have G16 plus Bifrost, which would set a really bad precedent, I think, if they continue to go forward that way. And at 8-to-1, we do get all of the event currency without G16 Bifrost, and that's why I think that's where it's going to land. Now, of course, we don't know, and I'm going to put this up here. This is going to be subject to change, of course, because we don't get this information from them. I've been trying to get this information on the blog post for a very, very, very long time. This is the one thing that they don't provide us with really on the blogs with relation to spending, getting currency from nodes. They've never put this on the blog, and it really pisses me off that I can't give you the most accurate information for that, but it's the best that I can do, everyone. So that's going to be the end of this video, and don't worry that this is also going to be live. I'm waiting now to post the official sheets live when the event goes live on my Discord channel. That way I can add in the free claim as well and make sure all of it's as updated as possible. So if you are looking forward to that, then make sure and keep an eye out for that. So that's going to be the end of this video, everyone, and until next time, tomorrow's blog post, I guess, stay safe and healthy. I'll see y'all later. Boilon, signing out.